Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Becky, and today we're going to do a 12 by 12 layout, which I don't even know why I say that every time. It's almost always a 12 by 12 layout. I'm going to switch it up, guys. I did do a 6 by 8 that I haven't done a video on, and I did do that one double page, so there you go. I think I need to step into some 8.5 by 11s. Okay, you can see right here, we are starting with a piece of white cardstock as our background. That is a piece of White Daisy from Close to My Heart, and I am using scraps on this one. I'm trying to get my scrap box down to where it actually is a scrap box and not overflowing onto my floor. Now, when I started doing this one, this was actually during one of the challenges. This might have actually been for a challenge, but I did not write it on here, so I really can't recall. You can see right there, I did use several different scraps. I am going to end up pulling out my Big Shot to cut out some circular pieces. A couple I won't end up using. This right here is a piece of a cut apart. I'm not going to end up using that, and I went ahead and layered it on top of this gray dot because that floral paper, it has gray in it too, and I thought, well, that looks really cute. Yeah, they're going to go away. We aren't going to end up using those on this layout. In fact, I haven't used them yet on any layout, but I will someday. So right here I am going to go ahead and use the same papers. Well, I'm going to use the dot paper, this one, and then I will also be using the other dot paper. I put two dot papers on here, guys. One of them is like a scattered dot, and one of them is more uniformed dot. And then I'm going to use both of those up top, and then I'm also going to use a piece of the yellow up there. You can see in the top right hand corner of your screen, we are following a sketch on this one. That big circular piece you see on the sketch, we kind of omit that altogether. We're not really going to use that. I will use some circular embellishments though. Right here I did cut out a large circle, and then I found this little cut apart card, and on it it says, "Do everything with so much love in your heart that you would never want to do it any other way." I thought that was beautiful. I was going to layer those up on top of each other, but the big circle that I already cut out is going to go away. I think this is a beautiful sentiment, and it actually reminds me of my scrapbooking, right? Because I wouldn't do it any other way, and I do it with all my heart. That is why I'm so sensitive when people give me a thumbs down, and it makes me want to cry. See? The pictures I'm going to be using on here are of Riley when she was still a baby. She had just started sitting on her own, so she was probably 4 or 5 months. Maybe a little bit older in these, but she is so cute. She got her little binky in her mouth. She just looks so adorable. This doesn't look like she does now. She still looks adorable now, but when she was a baby, she was a little bit more cuddly, right? Now she's just like on fire. She's like, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm busy, I'm exploring, I want to see what everything does, all that stuff. When she was a baby, she would just, let you cuddle her. There's no more cuddles, right? Okay, so you did see I put that down crooked, so I had to pull it up, and now I pull out my ruler. Funny story. Still looks crooked, doesn't it? It still looks crooked, but I am going to put so many layers on there. I don't know if you can really tell that it looks crooked or not. We are going to have 2 going across the bottom, and we're going to have 2 going vertically up this side as well. So I don't know that you can really, it looks crooked to me. I don't know if it really, maybe I cut it crooked because the right hand side looks straight, but the left hand side is questionable in my opinion. So I don't know. I will end up filling that up so you can't tell, but looking at it right here, that's what I'm seeing. So I did ink everything that I put down on here. Well, of course, some of the pieces I probably missed. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I did ink everything with the, I think it's gray flannel. It's a Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink. I do take that kind of back away toward my body to do because my little foam pad is getting kind of old and it will like shed, right? It'll drop pieces of foam onto my page, and if I wipe them off, it'll leave a smudge. If I do drop them on page, I try to blow them off, but I don't always realize that is what is on there. So I'll wipe, and then it'll streak, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Right here you can see is where I got rid of that circle, and I'm just going to keep that one. That is serving as my title. I know it is not a title, I am aware, but I don't care. I thought it was beautiful. It's a beautiful sentiment. I love it. That is going to serve as my title. So you'll see in the title of this video, I think it just says do everything. I think is what I end up making that be. So we're going to layer up these strips up at the top, very much like you see in the sketch. Now you can see in the sketch there's only like 2 layers. I'm going to put 3 layers, and 2 of them actually are going to go all the way out to the end of the page. That yellow layer is going to be cut a little bit short. You can see it right there. I did use some art glitter glue to put that down. It's going to be right like that. Now, after I do that, I will end up matting my photos. I don't know. This is just a piece of random cardstock. I do believe it is from Close to My Heart as well. I am really getting into the colored cardstock now. Before I started with Close to My Heart, I did have some colored cardstock, but they are purchased in like paper pads, like what you would get at Michael's or whatever. And I hardly ever used them. I still have some. I just hardly ever used them. But I'm really starting to get into the colored cardstock these days. So I'm just letting my, however I'm feeling, whatever I'm enjoying at the moment, I'm just going with it. Even if it's not on trend or whatever right now, I don't care. I'm just doing what I am enjoying at the time. So you can see right here, I did pull out this chipboard sheet by Paige Evans. Funny because nothing on this page, none of these papers are Paige Evans. I believe that floral background, I believe that's a Dear Lizzy. We have some crepe paper in there. I think that's mostly what it is, crepe paper and Dear Lizzy. We're going to pull out these Paige Evans, and you know what I do? See, I have their buttons, right? So I put these buttons down and around the page that I like to stitch my buttons on. Now, sometimes I'll get lazy and won't do that, but in this instance, I did stitch them on. The square ones you see, those go away. I'd only use the round ones. But what I'm going to do is when I poke out the centers of these buttons, I save them. You see, I'm putting them up at the top. I'm going to scatter those around the page like enamel dots. Those are going to be my finishing touch on this layout. I am just going to stitch one button down on camera, and then I will go away. Now you see this needle I'm using is freaking ginormous. It's actually a tapestry needle, and that's just what I had at hand. I've never done tapestry before in my life, but you've heard, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard me talk about Uncle Gene a lot, and he was kind of a crafty guy. I did get a lot of his art supplies when he had passed away, and because I was the one that he would sew a lot and things like that. I'm the one that would, in the family, that did that. So I did get a lot of his crafty type stuff. So yes, that needle I do still have, even though I've never done a tapestry before in my life. I do still have that needle, and even if I don't ever use it, I'm never getting rid of it because it was Uncle Gene's. So you can see right here, I did use it. I stitched on all of those buttons. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my photos on later. I went ahead and did it this way so I could get that photo up underneath that button just exactly right. Basically, it's harder to put down a button or to sew on a button, to me anyways, than it is to arrange the photos. So I sewed them down, then put the photos down, and it worked out perfectly. And again, right here, I am popping up this little saying up on some foam tape, and I did kind of the same thing, kind of in a reverse way of what you would expect. I put the foam tape down onto the page and then put that on top of it. And the reason I did that is because if I put it down on the page, I can see where I'm putting the foam tape. If I put it on the back of that circle, I didn't want to get any of it in the wrong place. So there you go. I did have a little oopsie oops with my camera, of course, so you didn't see me put down all of those dots, but you can see here where I used all of the insides of those buttons to go ahead and put around like you would enamel dots. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.